So as I mentioned in the last video, I'm using Maya style navigation, which is pretty much industry standard now across a lot of packages. And also, if you use the key map, the preset key map in the preferences like I showed in the last video, you can set it to that industry standard one, and it uses the same with left, middle, and right held down with Alt. Everyone pretty much knows that. So there's a handy little feature in Blender. I have a script in Max to replicate it, but it's the same with Painter, Substance Painter, and ZBrush, where you can snap to an ortho view if you hold down a key. So in this case, it's going to be Alt is the modifier key. So as I press Alt and then let go of Alt, I'm still orbiting here, and then I get close to an orthographic view. I can hold down Alt, snap to that view, and then release the mouse, and then I'm snapped into that. And you can also snap to 45 degrees, so very useful. So if you don't like using that method, the numpad is where you'll find the quick switch to the views. So to switch between all your different views, you're going to be using the numpad, and that's going to be 1 for front, 3 for right, 7 for top, and 9 for bottom. And also it's going to be 1 and then control 1 is front and back, toggles between them. 3, control 3, and then the top are what they are. Top and bottom are 7 and 9, and then 5 is going to toggle in and out of perspective. So when you're in perspective, you can still use the snap, but it's going to be perspective. So 5 to go back into ortho, and then that snap. So I like that snap feature. I pretty much use that all the time. I don't really use those numpad hotkeys. And then also frame selected is 0 on the numpad. And then let's say you have a couple of different objects in the scene, and the home key then is going to frame all. So I'll just get rid of them, and that's pretty much the basics of navigation. You can also find them up here in view when you're in object mode. You can see all these different here's the different numpad zeros for camera. So I didn't show that because I'll probably show in another video about creating cameras and rendering and that sort of thing. So you can also navigate on the numpad here using the keys, and then there's a fly and walk navigation that I haven't really looked into, and then align view, align camera, and all the rest of it. And you can see the same hotkeys there: frame all, home, frame selected, numpad, and then your perspective ortho. You can have a look through those, but I don't really use these because I'm just using basically the snap and then the 5 key. Pretty much all I use for that. So that's navigation. So translation in Modo is interesting, namely because of its keyboard approach. It does have manipulators, but they do go into a mode, so it's not as you'd expect in Max, because like say for instance you have something selected and you think you can drag here, but it's going to start moving in screen space. You can right click to cancel that. I think it's Modo's based around modal operators or something, so once you go into tools, you're in that mode until you exit that mode. It's maybe similar to Modo, I think. But so basically, these are just your normal manipulator that you find in any package. There's no universal one. I think there was, but they took it out, so you have to switch between these. Now it does say the hotkey here is G, R and S, but that's going to bring you into the keyboard mode rather than switch between these manipulators. So if I go into edit mode, vertex, and then a manipulator will pop up then, to move things around obviously. But let's say for instance you want to move that, and then you think you can, you have to get out of that tool, then you have to switch back over to your box, then you have to switch back over to this again. And the reason it's over there is because I have to set the pivot to active element or median point. So I'll just select that, and then that becomes deactive. You see the way it changed color there from orange to yellow. It's going to be different. I changed these colors myself to be different in your default install, but I'll go over that more detail. So that's basically the problem I find with these. There's a bloke at the moment creating an add-on that does away with all this. This one here, it's not quite ready, so I'm not even going to go into that, but it makes it so that you can actually use the way you'd be used to in Macs. You can still use your select, marquee select, without this kind of carry on here. And then you can have a universal manipulator. You can turn them on at the same time. So I'm going to cancel out of that. And these are your selection modes. You've got your marquee select, and then that's your box select, it's called. You can also bring that up with B, but it's just a one-time thing. So let's say I have lasso select here for left mouse button, and then I press B. Once I use that once, it goes back to lasso select, which was selected here. So I just usually leave this at a box select, and then you can hold down Control and right click to switch between. So you can use your lasso select there, and then circle select, you can just press C to go into that. It's just like a paint selection sort of a thing, but that's, you're locked into that because it's a mode and you're projecting onto the screen. So you have to right click to cancel out of that. You can't even undo. Once it goes into that circle mode, you're locked in, so you have to right click to get out of that. So it's kind of strange the way this works. So I'm just waiting for this this add-on here to be ready before I even bother with any of these. So I'm just using the hotkey selection, or sorry, translation, which is sort of what what Blender is quite well known for. So switch back to that. You can also access these with the spacebar, like I showed in the last video. You can set the spacebar to the three different options: the play, the search being F3 like X and Max. So I have it set to spacebar to bring up these tools, even though I don't really use these tools, but I will when this add-on is ready. So as we saw earlier, G, R and S are the three hotkeys. So if I press G, it's going to just start moving in screen space, but then I can lock it to an axis. Press X, press Y, and I've no mouse button clicked around here. I'm not holding any keys down. You just press it once, and because it's, as I said, modal, you're locked in here. Like you can do what you like. You can start typing in dimensions, and until you commit to the tool, you can keep, it's dynamic. You know, you can keep changing your mind as you're in that mode. And I just right click there then to cancel that. You can also, if you don't want to be pressing those keys all the time, you can press G to go into move, say, and then I can just hold down the middle mouse button and move of the middle mouse button held down, and I'm just moving in screen space to these and locking to these different axes. So that's middle mouse button, which is quite useful as well if you don't want to keep pressing keys. But say for instance then I wanted to move this box a unit across, I would just press G to go into move mode, or grab mode as it's called. That's why G is the hotkey. Then X, and then I'll type 100, and it's going to move over 100 centimeters or 1 meter. So I can see here I'm still locked in, so the mouse won't go off that viewport. So I have to either click to confirm or right click to cancel. So over here I'm set to metric and centimeters. If I were set to meters here, I would only have to type in 1 and it'll move across a meter, because this is the grid, is each grid square is a meter. And then you can see up here dimensions of this object. It's 2 meters 200 centimeters square, as you can see here. So that's G, Z, and then 100, and it's gone up a grid unit 100. So I'll just right click, and it's the same thing. I can press R then, and it's going to start rotating freely, and then I can just press one of the axes, and then I can just type 90, and it's going to, you obviously don't see it with the cube, but it's rotated 90. And if I confirm that, you can see here it's rotated all over the shop. So Control A, and then I can just apply that rotation. And then it's the same with scale. Scale on your different axes. So it is actually it is quite a great system when you get used to it. There's other hotkeys as well, like for instance, if I just rotate this on Y, we'll say, and then I switch over to local mode, and then if I go into face selection and press G, and then I press sorry, I'm going to extrude that first, and then I'm going to press G and then Z, and I can press Z again, and what it's doing there is it's dynamically changing between global or world axis, and then it's local by just tapping. I'm just tapping the key there, and then I'm just going to undo all that. And then the other thing you can do is, let's say for instance you wanted to move it on Y and X. I'll just press G to start moving, and then Shift Z, and now it's going to be moving. It's only moving across that XY plane. It won't move up in the air. And another really nice feature is snapping. So let's say for instance I'm on increment here, so that's absolute grid snap, and it's going to be snapping to increments of the grid depending on what you have it set to here. So if I start moving, say on X, and I can hold down control, and it's going to snap to those increments. And you can do this with anything, obviously snap verts to verts. It's like Max's axis constraints, but it's, you know, dynamic, just holding down a hotkey. It's nice setup. And then the same thing, you know, you can rotate, press X, and then you can hold down and start snapping, and you can see up the top left, it's snapping in increments. So that's pretty much navigation. Sorry, not navigation, that's translation. So one other useful feature of translation is, let's say I press G again, select the object, press G. I can use the arrow keys. Now it's moving in screen space here, but if I switch to snap into an orthographic view and press G, I'm using the arrow keys now to move, and it's just moving. It's snapping there now, see, to those smaller grid spaces. So if I'm moving, I can hold control and it's going to snap. So that's just another way of translating as well. And let's say I press G, X, and then I hold down Shift. It's going to move really slowly as well. Like in Max, the way in spinners now you can hold down Alt. Well, in Blender you hold down Shift for nearly everything to slow it down. So the same thing with if you're extruding or insetting or moving, rotating, whatever you're doing, you can hold down Shift. We'll leave the video at that. I think that's pretty much the same holds true for sub-object modes as well. All those hotkeys. So remember, just G, S, and R, and then double tap them and use Shift combinations. Just play around with it for a while. You actually get used to it. It's pretty good because let's say when you're snapped to an ortho view, it's going to be screen space, so you're locked into X and Y, which is nice. And then if you're, say, you're modeling and you don't have to keep going in and out of views, but when we model something, you'll see that because the way the hybrids or the sub-object works. I'll show that when we're modeling something a bit later. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's enough. Pretty much covers all you need to know to get going. Alright then, cheers, thanks, good luck.